Welcome back. And today's title is about, maybe it was never about your worth. And I want to talk about this because, again, I'm seeing this and I want to just give you this as inner teachings, and maybe this will resonate with you. Yeah. It's the relationships and the moments where you feel like someone doesn't meet you. And I'm talking about emotional way. And maybe they pulled away. Maybe they're gone quiet. And that space can feel so uncomfortable to you. Yeah. And this is a space where you usually go inward and you're asking yourself so many questions. And questions is, did I do something wrong? Was I too much? Did I expect it too much? And the list goes on. And I just want you to slow down for the minute. Slow down. Because sometimes what you're experiencing is not about your worth at all. Sometimes it's about what the other person is actually able to give you. Yeah, so let that land in. What they're able to hold, what they're able to sustain. And that can be really hard to accept it because the mind wants to find a reason. It wants to make a sense out of it. And often the easiest place to go to is self-blame. Yeah, not because you are weak, yeah, but because it gives you a sense of a control. So if it's me, then maybe I can fix it. If it's me, then maybe I can do something different, yeah, and it will work out. This is usually the sentences what I get to see in the clients, yeah. But I want you to hear this out. You can't always change what someone else is capable of giving. You can communicate, you can be open, you can show up with honesty, but you can't make someone meet you if they're not able to. And that's not a failure, it's just where they are. Yeah? And I'll say this can feel a little bit confronting, yeah? Because it will ask you to stop trying to earn something that was never yours to earn. Yeah, so to stop, what I mean by that, stop adjusting in the hope that it will finally land. Yeah, this is for women especially. And instead, to gently come back to yourself, focus on yourself, to notice what you need, what you feel, what actually matters to you in a relationship. Yeah. Not from the place of demand and scarcity, but from a place of honesty. And when you do that, something shifts. In that whole dynamic, it shifts. So you're no longer trying to be chosen by someone who can't fully choose you. Yeah? You can start recognizing what's actually in front of you. Yeah? Without making it mean something about your value. And that creates space. Yes, space to choose differently, space to respond differently, space to not take everything so deeply into your identity. Yeah, that has got a meaning, yeah? Because your worth was never something another person got to define it in the first place. Let me tell you that. And the more you start to see this, the less you feel pulled into proving, into chasing, into overthinking. And the more you start to stand in something that feels a lot more steady, yeah, a lot more steady, not perfect, not always easy, but grounded, steady. When we talk about this is the leadership. And from there you can choose what truly meets you. Yeah? Because this is the version of you that is not proving and has a space in between. The relationships, especially in adulthood, they are different than they are maybe when you had, let's go say, first marriage. Maybe you had a marriage in your 20s, and it's so different after you are divorced or post-breakup after the long-term relationship, and you're going like, oh my goodness. Because as humans, let me tell you something, we compound more wounds But are we aware of them? We never can see our blind spots. So you need to then have a therapist or someone who is able to see your blind spots, because we never can see that for ourselves. Because if we could, we would, and we would have changed things. So if some of these parts in this video resonated with you, it's opportunity for you to write it down, even if it makes you angry, because it triggered something inside of you. And a trigger, as I always say this, is invitation to see where do you not feel free from within yourself, because something triggered you for a reason. And it's a good thing to be. The difference is, what do we do with the triggers? Do we become aggressive? Do we go like, okay, opportunity for me to grow, I'm going to go within? So you need to have a look what it is, what I want you to be, and freedom from within. And becoming her, for example, is, and I talk about female because majority of my audience and majority of my clients is females, yeah? So if you happen to be a male who's listening to this, please take it as a grain of salt. But I want you to hear this out, yeah? So for everyone, is we are so, sometimes it's like we're going from a marriage and then we have got so many things which we didn't clear it up and didn't heal from it. And then majority of people goes fastly into the next relationship because they don't want to be alone, they don't want to be whatever it is, yeah? And then if they're going into the relationship, are they bringing the things which they didn't clear it up? And I say this as part of the baggage into the relationship. And then they start, again, in this work is, if they could have, they should have. But I will say this, do they have the capacity? And so I want to add on this. If you're female and you have got, let's go say mentorship, healing sessions, you're in the programs, you lead, he will follow. Yeah. And it's not about who has to lead, who has to follow. It's about being healthy pattern. If you're available to hear this out and he didn't, don't make it up as a lecture to him. Subtly, you do things, you change, you clear up, and he will be able to come to you because you are not going to be, as I call it, as a cactus. You know, so lots of times women would have sessions with me and they would have come home literally with a notebook and go, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I'm like, no. You have to start off with yourself. You have to start with yourself. And then the things start changing because you're in a sessions or you're listening to the video. Yeah? Except you're both listening together. Can we do things together? But again, it has to be willingly. We don't want to force anything. We don't want to say demand anything in that sense. And we're not talking about the boundaries here. Yeah, that's completely different story and a different video. I'm not going to be expanding on all of those things today. So because I don't like to make my videos super long. I want to have it that it's like, you can have it in chunks. You can take it in what you need. And then it's like, let it land in. It's more powerful that it lands in. And contemplate means think about it. And then it's like, okay, I can go and do a next step. Remember, you're adult now. You're not a child. And a child didn't walk and run instantly. We took time to do that. Yeah? And so your wounds didn't got created in an instant, and they're not going to be in an instant gone. And it takes a little bit longer when we are adults to recognize particular patterns in ourselves. Why do we do them? Yeah, so then it takes time to undo them and then create a new ones. But it can be done. Absolutely can be done. And thank you for the listening, and thank you for subscribing and liking the videos. They are created in absolutely love for you to have got a freedom from within.